Hey, shalom, shalom. All right, first and foremost, I want to give our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakwadash, that be honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect out here pushing this truth and sincerity. The water for what you do, we love you. We appreciate you through the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and shalom to y'all. All right, this is your brother Dawadai with the Great Millstone Camp in Atlanta. Lord willing to give you an edifying lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right. If you're watching this now, you are a so-called black, Native American, or Latino man or woman. You are a Hebrew Israelite according to the Holy Bible. All right. You would not find black, Latino, or Native American, Indian in the Bible. So you need to know who you are according to the Bible. Why? Because a certain people in the Bible was promised the glory, covenant, kingdom, and salvation. Okay, now if you don't look like a so-called black, Native American, or Latino, but you feel like this is the truth and it resonates with your spirit, well, then there's a good possibility that you could be a Hebrew Israelite. All right, it does not matter what you look like. It does not matter what color your skin is. It only matters that your bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, Jacob had his name later changed to Israel. Israel in the Hebrew is Yasharallah, meaning he is a prince of the power. All right, so we're sticking to the history. Last time we did 2 Kings chapter 16, and I actually had to redo that video. The old video never got posted. Esau with his technology, I don't know what he's doing, but he's trying to keep some of our videos down and whatnot. But you know what, nonetheless, it could be just a malfunction, but it doesn't even matter. All right, it's still Esau's technology. All right. So let's continue on. We're going to go to 2 Kings chapter 17 now. And we're going to read the history, all right? As said by our apostles and elders. If you don't know the history, you do not know the Bible. And this could not stand true. And this stands true for forever, man. All right? How are you going to know the Bible if you don't know anything about the geographical locations? If you don't know the history? Right? If you don't know the events, which is why we're going through Kings. It gives you the history and the events and the Kings. All right? It gives you the history on reasons why we are the way we are today and receiving the curses. All right? What are the things that we did? Well, we went slap off, man. We did wickedness in the sight of the eyes of the Lord. Come on now. You see? It's not just like we're just out here just, getting beat for no reason. All right? We are receiving strikes based off things that we have done in the past, man. This is why the history is important in that regard as well. All right, you got to know yourself, man. All right, 2 Kings chapter 17 verse 1. Subtitle reads Hoshea reigns over Israel. It says, in the 12th year of Ahaz king of Judah began Hoshea the son of Elah to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria. Oh, Salakia, bros pronounce it Shalmaneser, king of Assyria. And Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. Israel captive. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes. Why Israel fell. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel which they had made. Now we did a class last week, and one of the scriptures one of the accounts that were brought up was when Israel had asked for a king over them to rule over them, as like the other nations, right? As to be of the other nations. So here we are. We have the Most High God. If Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, he's over everything, but that's our power, right? And we want flesh to rule over us rather than the highest power, the most high God, Yahweh himself. You see? So this is why your ass get beat, man. You see? That's like you having parents, but you talking about you like your friends' parents more than your real parents. Your parents gonna get pissed, man. And rightfully so, rightfully so, man. Yeah, a lot of kids don't have a sound sense of judgment. Your father might be real strict on you, right? And your mother, is likened to your father because they're one flesh, or she treats you how, she might give you a little, she might be soft on you and whatnot a little bit, but she still follow what's the father's standard, But then the other kids' fathers, they let them do whatever they want. So they like going over their house more. They like being with their parents more. I like their parents. They got video games and let me play video games all day, and we eat Pop-Tarts and Cheetos all day and drink Mountain Dew. You see? There's no standard, there's no boundaries, there's no system, there's no routine, there's no order. So they like that. It feeds to their lust. Well, that's what the Most High is saying to us. Oh, you like being following after idols, huh? It feeds into your lusts. They allow you to have sex, adultery. They might allow you to commit adultery. They allow you to do wicked things on the Sabbath, right? They allow you to have orgies, threesomes, and women with women, men with men. They allow you to do these things, so it feeds into your lust, which I don't know what's lustful about, having sex with the same that's the same gender as you, but that's their prerogative, right? The Lord's like, yo, man, like, okay, that feeds out your lust. Go after that and see what happens. You see? So that's what happens, man. These people get out of order and they start feeling themselves, man. You see? But what happens is they decay over time. The evil, you see the evil actually spewing out in them. They have actual demons living on them for real and inside them for real. Right? That's why those parasites and things that go in your body from eating foods that you're not supposed to eat, they got faces that look like demons. They look like actual demons. All right? Lord willing, we'll do a lesson on that. It says why Israel fell. Let's see here. So let's read it from the top again. It says, verse 7, for so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had fear of other gods. Exactly. We're talking about him taking us away out of captivity, and us saying, no, it's okay. Thanks for taking us out, but you know what? We'll do our own thing. You know what I'm saying? It says, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, you see, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel which they had made. That's why with King Solomon, he had multiple wives, but his issue was going into their gods. That was their issue, his issue. It says, and the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God, and they built them high places in all their cities, from the towers of the watchmen to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill, and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. You see? For they served idols, and I love how it says this, they served idols and not gods. There's no other gods. All right, it says, for they served idols, whereof the Lord had said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like to the neck of their fathers that did not believe in the Lord their God. All right, we're a stiff-necked people. You see, we are a stiff-necked people. I'm talking about you so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos. You see, and even the ones of you that look like other nations. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're stiff-necked. However, you might get brought up in like Japanese culture. A lot of y'all, if you're in a triads or whatever it is, or or selling drugs, whatever it may be, but you still kind of had a piece of being a part of another culture still growing up in there, even though you probably might be an outcast or a black sheep, they call you, but you still kind of can follow a certain order. Well, Israel, the so-called Black, Latino, Native Americans, since they were born here in America, they're just like drowning in filth. That's just what they live in, right? They rejected the statutes. Here it goes, right here. It says, and they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers and his testimonies, which he testified against them, and they followed vanity and became vain and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them that they should not do like them. Okay, so the ones that the Lord, the Heavenly Father, told us not to be like, we want to be like. We are better than them. You got this whole thing right now, race, right now, like it's finally getting back to like this race hatred, and we're better than these people. They don't like us. Read Psalms 83, man. They had a tumult against us, man. You see, it says, and they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them molten images, even to calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. All right, and that's why I said, like, I think this video got deleted, because I actually did a video like this. But and if I did and I posted it, so what? We're gonna do it again, right? Because I might have a different take on it now, even though it's the same message, the same breakdown, the same lessons, right? So it says, therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel. I'm gonna read that again. It says, and they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Now, when you watch the movie Apocalypto, you can see how they sacrificed people, right? And these are the what do you call that? These are the customs of the Babylonians, right? They worship at these different gods, and they put their, they sacrifice their children. Christmas was a big one, because it wasn't called Christmas at one point in time, which is a pagan holiday. And what they would do is they would sacrifice and put babies underneath the tree, and those are the gifts. So that's where you get the whole idea of putting gifts under the tree. It says, therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of the sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. That's what happened to us. You see, we went to slavery. We got heavily ridden in gang violence, all types of different things. Drugs hit our community terribly. All right, Esau was used as a weapon stick against us and other nations as well. It says, for he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king, and Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin, which is why he told Jeremiah, even thyself shall discontinue from thy heritage, all right, which I gave thee. It says, for the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, they departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. Exactly. City, yeah, because and we don't have a home. We don't have a home. Israel is our home, but look who inhabited it. All right, it said cities of Israel filled with strangers. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, or Cutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria, and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there, that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the Heavenly Father of the land, of the God of the land. Therefore he had sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of God of the land. Which reminds me of was that Deuteronomy, right? we're a special people unto the Lord. Oh, but another one that's, I forgot, is, I think it's verse 4 or 6. But it says, I think it's chapter 4 or 6, I can't remember, but it says that we are, this is our wisdom and knowledge. This should, with our wisdom and knowledge, incited other nations, that they may look upon us and see that indeed we are a wise nation. Why? Because the Heavenly Father gave us the wisdom. That's why. Yahweh, he is, he exists. That's his name, Yahweh, meaning he is, he exists, or he to be. All right. It says, then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel and taught them how they should fear the Lord. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own and put them in the house of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. Yeah, I mean, they don't care. It says, in the men of Babylon, you know, and cast not your pearls before swine. And then and the men of Babylon made Succoth, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nabaz and Tartak, and Sarphavites burnt their, and the Sepharvites burnt their children in the fire to Adrammelech and Anamelech, the gods of Sepharvaim. So they feared the Lord and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the house of the high places. They feared the Lord and served their own gods after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence. Until this day they do after the former manners. They fear not the Lord, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law of commandment which the Lord commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel. Exactly. You so-called blacks, Native Americans, Latinos, do not, we tell you can't eat pork, you want to eat pork. We tell you can't eat abominable foods, whether it be the bottom dwellers of the ocean or catfish, pigeons. We tell you can't eat certain things, and you eat it anyway, man. You see? Well, we tell you can't smoke weed, you smoke weed. We tell you can't vape, you vape. We tell you can't commit adultery, you commit adultery. We tell you can't be, like the same, a person who has the same look as you do. Let's just say it like that, right? Because certain things get you banned or your video taken down. Well, guess what? You do it anyways. You people are weird, man. We tell you can't go to these churches and serve after these white gods and whatnot. You do that anyways. It says, with whom the Lord had made a covenant and charged them, saying, ye shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. They don't have any power. They don't live. They're not real. That's why his name is He Exists. That's why his name is He Is, because they are not. It says, but the Lord who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and stretched out arm, him shall ye fear, and him shall ye worship, and to him shall ye do sacrifice. Stretched out arm. Read Proverbs chapter 1, man. He stretched his arm out to you. How? Through his prophets. The prophets speaking to you and make you come back. Well, we can't make you do anything. Do what you want, right? It says, in the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandment which he wrote for you, ye shall observe to do forevermore, and ye shall not fear other gods. They don't exist. Why would you fear them? It says, in the covenant that I have made with you, ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other gods, but the Lord your God ye shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. Howbeit they did not hearken, but they did after their former manner. Look, exactly. See? So these nations feared the Lord and served their graven images, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers, so did they unto this day. Until this day. We're talking about until right now. You niggas still do not fear the Lord, man, and you still serve after false idols. That's where our downfall comes, Israel. All right, that's where this whole thing of like, Jake not getting what he wants, man. Because y'all don't give the Lord what he wants, man. You go after your own lusts, man. All right, but I gotta get back. I gotta get to work. So Lord, when he was edified, I want to end it off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rakak Wadash. God bless to the apostles, the elders, the great millstone. I go well, peace and blessings, and shalom.